What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Well, back from the Olympia, and first thing I did was come inside an empty house without brew, which I knew was going to happen, and I was kind of trying to prepare myself for it, but I had made the video that I put up, excuse me, before I left, and I didn't want to put it up before the expo, because I didn't want to be at the expo having people talk about the video, like I knew they would. You know, I got a lot of condolences, and I appreciate that. There were times that I had a hard time holding tears back at the expo from so many people that had just a genuine look on their face of pain. You know, they've lost a pet, and they know what I'm going through, and they get emotionally invested in Bruno being in the videos and stuff, and you know, they feel it too. And I knew if I put that video up before, it was hard to make, let alone hard to watch, and I didn't want the added emotional, I guess, response in the middle of the expo. Last thing I wanted to do is just be sitting in the middle of an expo with like thousands of people fucking crying. So I waited. So I came home and you know, put the video up, and the response was great. And thank you all for the condolences and the well wishes, and the new hashtag All Dogs Go to Heaven. I will be doing something in Bruno's honor. It was a good idea. Someone said, make a t-shirt, I'll buy every size, every color. And I was like, you know what? So here's what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a t-shirt, a Bruno tribute t-shirt. It'll be something that, it's not going to like have a picture of a dog or something. It'll be something cool that you could wear wherever. Something kind of cutting edge and interesting. In every penny, okay? Not a proportion, whatever. I'm going to find out what it costs, and I'll completely disclose what it costs on camera so you guys know what they cost per shirt. And every penny is going to be donated to maybe the Humane Fund, Humane Society, whatever it is, to whatever charity I could figure out in Bruno's name. I'll make one run of them. I'll make a bunch of them. Maybe I'll do men's and women's both, because there are a lot of women that would probably wear the shirt too, and donate every single penny that is made to animal charity. So we're going to do that. And before we get started with my Olympia wrap up, we're going to do peaks and valleys, which if you remember my expos, Carrie and I used to do this. She got it from the Kardashians, which is actually kind of a fucking stupid thing, but it actually turned out to be cool. So peaks, so I think there would be like 2 peaks pretty much. The one peak would be walking the red carpet premiere, which would, I mean, was amazing. I got to put on a brand new suit that I had made. I felt like $1 million going into it. It was like, you feel like a real celebrity walking a red carpet, and they ask you, so, Mr. Ward, what are you wearing tonight? And you tell them, like, you know, I just like you're on the, you know, what do you call it? And I got to go with my friends Ari and Nick and Big J, and another friend who some of you may have seen in pictures with me, Francine Slobodnik, who's the Better Bodies model. I've known her for quite a while. And overall, it was just a cool night, and I had a lot of fun. I think the other peak would be the expo. Would be going to the expo. Actually, you know what? No, the other peak. Okay, here's the other peak. So forget the expo. The expo was amazing. Okay, and it's such a great time. It was awesome. But the other peak would actually having Erin come out, and she competed in the OCB, and she's not really involved in the industry. She has a career as a surgical nurse in the cardiology unit, cardiothoracic unit in Virginia. But having her come out and see the Olympia for the first time, and see the reaction on her face, like, you know, wow, you know, she knows who a lot of them are, but the gravity of, you know, what was going on, the fast-paced thing that was going on the whole time, and then actually going to the actual Olympia itself, and you walked in, all the lights and the grandage, I guess you call it, that was the Olympia. Her face was like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, you saw her jaw drop. You saw I've been to the Olympia a couple times. I love it. It's amazing, but you know, I couldn't imagine, you know, going back for the first time again. I don't remember what it was like. I wish I did, but seeing that look on her face, like, holy shit, the Olympia, like, this is the Olympia. And she kept saying, like, this is the Olympia, this is the Olympia, you know, and that was probably another, to see that pure, you know, like, joy and shock of, like, wow, the best in the world. Wow, you know, that was pretty awesome too. The valley of the whole trip, and I don't know if the video's already up or not, but I got a call on my way to the press conference from my mom in the morning. I should know when she calls in the morning, it's not good. My dad's cancer is back, and they can't do radiation and chemotherapy because he's had the max dosage. They're going to run more tests and try to use maybe some kind of laser thing that's like this experimental thing, but they don't know roughly how much time he has left. Like, everything is up in the air. And she calls me and tells me this on the way to the expo. So my grandfather dies 2 weeks before. I put my dog down Tuesday, and then Thursday I get this call on the way to the expo. That would be the valley. It kind of put a tone on the weekend for me of, you know, what the fuck, how much more is going to go on in 2015. But all in all, the trip was amazing. And my Olympia recap, I was fucking dead on with the exception of Kai Green being missing. Everybody moved up a spot. I didn't see Branch Warren break into the top 6, but he did. But Phil Heath, Dexter Jackson, Sean Roden, Dennis Wolf, and Rami. I called all those guys in the top 6, and they placed in the top 5. So here's the thing. And I talked to some people. I mean, I get it. I get the fact that you have your favorites. And I talked to people that, you know, telling me, oh, Phil's going to lose. And I'm sitting there going, looking, I'm like, that's great, but why? Tell me why Phil's going to lose. The problem is most of the people that are talking shit really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They have no clue. They're looking at something and they have no idea what they're looking at. Now, take emotional, you know, interest out of it. I can go to a show where I don't fucking know anybody. And I'll look on the stage and I'll go, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, done. And you know what? That's the way they wind up placing. Okay, because I know what the fuck I'm looking at. When I had someone tell me Sean Roden's going to beat Phil, and I said, why? Tell me why. He looks better. What the fuck does that mean? You know there's a criteria, right? You know if I'm calling the criteria, that's pretty much what the fucking judges are doing because the outcome is the same. Not look at the mass here or look at this. Oh, look, he's so massive, so shredded. That doesn't mean fucking jack shit. What the fuck does shredded mean? I'm going to tell you what shredded means. When Phil Heath stands next to Sean Roden and they hit a fucking side chest pose, people go, oh, Sean's going to beat where? Where does he have him beat? Oh, he's got, better hamstrings. Okay, now, there's more than one thing you look at in that pose to give that person that win. Phil's rear delt rounds out a hell of a lot more. It's more developed. The rear delt, boom, right off the bat. The way the delt cuts in, the brachialis in the arm, the forearm striations, that comes into play on the side chest. When they hit the side chest, those striations in the side of the chest that you're flexing, Phil's got 5 or 6 more striations in that chest and separations. You're not even looking at what's actually there. Then they hit the fucking oblique area. Phil's obliques were harder like a motherfucker and more detailed than Sean's. So you're looking at several places to that one where Sean beat him. You add several to one, several wins. What the fuck are you looking at? Like, you really have to get a fucking clue if you think you're going to call a fucking competition because you're a fan. You're not a judge. You've never competed. You're a fan. You don't know what the fuck you're looking at. You don't know what the criteria is. And it drives me nuts how I keep hearing over and over again, well, Dexter should have beat Phil. This one should have beat Phil. And I'm like, look, I was there. I saw the fucking poses. I saw the mandatories. And what I'll tell you is this. There are some poses where maybe Dexter could match Phil. Okay? But then you start looking at those fine details, like the front double bicep. Dexter has a great front double bicep, but his biceps look a little fucking swollen lately. Okay? They look like there's something in there. Some oil, maybe. No, I'm just speculating. But there's a weird, strange thing looking. You look at Phil's double bicep, his biceps are hard and fucking striated. There's a clear, distinct striation and hardness between the bicep and the tricep. You know, maybe Dexter's lats sweep out a little bit more. But you look at Phil, the way the deepness and separation in his legs. There's other things that you look at. Phil has calves. When they turn around and hit those things, I mean, Dennis Wolf is lucky to be hitting the fucking spots he is with no calves whatsoever. Okay, so like there's other things you have to look at that's an actual criteria that I don't think you guys understand. When they turned around, Sean Roden had a wide upper back, was lacking so much fucking detail in that mid and lower back. How are you going to give someone the best bodybuilder in the world award when they lack detail and size and separation in their mid to lower back? You're missing a piece of your body. It's not there. Dennis Wolf, Dennis should have won. Dennis has like a hole in the middle of his fucking mid to lower back. The muscle cells are not there. Okay, so no matter what the fuck he does, it's not going to be there. He turns around and he looks great on his own, and he's hard and he's shredded, but he doesn't have the complete physique. Phil is complete, period. Hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ronnie Coleman was complete. Lee Haney was complete. These guys, Arnold Schwarzenegger was complete. Did Lou Ferrigno have bigger arms or was he bigger? Yes, but that didn't make him better. Okay, so really, the way I fucking called it and the way I saw it is the fucking way it went down. Now, you could argue Sean Roden and Dexter Jackson could have swapped places. Based on conditioning, I think that Sean could have beaten Dexter. And I was with some people that were actually texting Sean telling him, control your fucking abdomen. Sean put on weight, but his stomach was fucking sticking out from the bottom in a very fucking strange place that when he turned, I mean, it just didn't look right. Sean's got narrow hips and a small waist, so the distension happened just in the belly. Not a wide waist, but it was just in the bottom of his belly. And he was told, control that shit because you're going to be marked down. He didn't. For whatever reason, whether he couldn't control it or he didn't remember or whatever the case may be, he didn't. So he got marked down for it, especially nowadays with the big belly thing going on. Phil came out, the flat stomach, and he showed people, he's like, flat stomach. And I'm sitting there going, people are like, you'll nitpick Phil because he's not his best. And they think 2011 was his best. And that very well could be the best shape he'll ever fucking be in his entire life. But on the stage, on that day, I fucking called it. And I was listening to people. I had people try to argue with me. Phil should have lost because of this. And I said, okay, well, Phil should have lost because so-and-so was better. And I go, how? And he can't fucking answer it. How was he better? He was bigger. That doesn't make him fucking better. He was more shredded. No, he wasn't. He wasn't more shredded. Was Phil a little flat? Yeah. Was his tan a little fucked up Friday night? Yeah, but he admits those things. He admits that he underate to make sure his stomach was so fucking flat that people couldn't bust on his gut. So it's like, you're not getting it. There's a fucking criteria. And unless you have been on a fucking stage, unless you have pushed yourself to that fucking point to get all those separations in your body and know what the fuck you're looking at, you really, I mean, it's just an opinion at that point. You're really not calling the fucking show. You're really not judging the show. You really have no clue what the fuck you're looking at. This has happened before when like Kuklo lost the show, or he won a show. People were like, Kuklo should have lost. And I went through the video and I picked apart everything and why he won. And people still didn't understand. I pointed it out. This is why, that's why, this pose, that crevice, this here, that striation. And people are like, I didn't understand. Because you don't know the sport. You're a fan, right? You're not a competitor. You're not a judge. You're not a fucking coach. You're not a guru. You're a fan. And the fans are needed because why? You put money in the pockets, asses in the seats, and that's what you do. And that's great that you're there. But the bottom line is, you guys all fight online. You guys all argue and do all your shit. And I'm like, is it any fucking real surprise that people that are actual competitors are calling these fucking shows the way that they're supposed to be and getting the fucking placings right? And all you fucking yahoos don't know what the fuck you're talking about, keep getting it wrong and complain. There was actually a picture of Kai Green at 290 something so many weeks out. If he would have stepped on stage, he would have beat Phil. We'll see, because Kai doesn't look on stage like he did in that fucking picture. In that picture, there's fucking certain lighting, certain oil, certain color, certain background. It was a white background. There's a black background at the Mr. Olympia. All that shit makes a difference as to how you look on stage. And I don't think you guys get it. Every fucking thing, even the lighting this year compared to last year, different lighting, different look. If there was the lighting from 2011, maybe Phil would have looked closer to 2011. I saw him up close. I saw him fucking a foot away from me. You'll see the footage. His fucking skin looked like an onion. He was so fucking thin-skinned. All those guys look fucking great. But the bottom line is, who has the least amount of flaws? Not who has the widest upper back, who weighs the most on the fucking scale, who's got the most shredded glutes, who's got the least amount of flaws. And again, on stage this weekend, Phil. So you love it or hate it, that's the fucking way it is. And until someone comes along with even less flaws than Phil has, he ain't gonna get beat. BioStraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. I can hear all the things like, Jerry, you're a fucking Phil fan. Yeah, I'm a Phil fan. He's a friend of mine, but you know what? He's got the best physique in the world 5 times. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is a blog. And see, I call the Olympia bicep, and we're out.